Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Well, 2026 season is almost here. I believe March 11th, March 12th will be the start of the new league year 2026. But going over the Super Bowl 60, I haven't talked about that since that game. Yeah, it was a pretty boring one, if I do say so myself. Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots. Seattle pretty much dominated most of the game. Not because that New England's bad, it's just because their offensive line is pretty bad, though. They couldn't do anything. Drake May just couldn't do anything much in that one. Defensively, they played really well, but Seattle, they were just too good, and it really showed on that night. They did a really good job, and great victory for them. Good win for Sam Darnold and company. So happy for Sam, but not really happy for Seattle winning the Super Bowl in Levi Stadium. And the owner, I believe, Jody Allen, she will be selling the team at a perfect time after winning the Super Bowl, so the valuation should be going up just a little bit more for her team and also the NFL teams in general. They're just going for a lot of money. So we'll see how much it sells for, and they'll probably sell for a lot of money. Whatever that they're asking, they'll probably get for a good team like the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, good job on their part, but it sucks to see them win at Levi Stadium. Anyways, going to 2026, time for a new year. Always exciting to talk about the draft, free agency, stuff like that. So I'll try to talk more about that in the coming weeks. It's coming up really, really soon in terms of free agency. Also, the draft is coming next month. Really excited for both opportunities for the 49ers to get better. Hopefully they could address a lot of stuff. Offensive line, as you all know. But some things to talk about for the 49ers. Also, besides the offseason programs, we could talk about international games. 49ers got two in 2 different weeks. I think the 49ers are the first team in NFL history to do that. And yeah, they're going to be traveling a lot. So if they have frequent miler program like United, I'm assuming because it's a hub in San Francisco, they better be taking advantage of that big time because, yeah, they're going to be traveling quite a bit this year in 2026. You look at the schedule, week one, assuming it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. It's going to be an away game for the 49ers, so it will not count towards their home game, but still traveling pretty far. That's a heck of a journey from San Francisco to Melbourne, Australia, which is cool right there. Shout out to all you Aussies if you happen to be watching this video. But um, to see both teams play in Australia, that's going to be a very different thing for them in terms of jet lag and stuff like that. I know they'll probably be flying in business class and stuff like that. That always helps big time. But still, I mean, to have to go to another time zone, get a little bit used to the time, that's going to suck right there. But hopefully, best luck to both teams. And, I always hope the 49ers are going to win. And, anyways, it's probably better for the Rams to play over there because SoFi Stadium, it's going to be filled with a lot of Niner fans. That's a good benefit for them from going to Australia. But maybe there'll be a lot of 49er fans in Australia too, so that'd be cool if that happens to be in week one. I believe they'll be playing on a Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be like the week before week one when the Seahawks play or that day or whatever, but we'll see when the schedule comes out. But that will be the first game for the 49ers for sure, will be against the Los Angeles Rams at Melbourne, Australia. The next game will be in Mexico City. That'll probably be very later on in the year. They did play Arizona a few years ago, I believe 2022, 2023, and we ended up winning that game pretty good on Monday Night Football. So hopefully we get another result right there, but another traveling time, international game. Yeah, I mean, that is a good and bad thing. It's cool to get more fans into the game of football. I love to see NFL all over the world, but at the same time, it does suck to travel a lot and to take a grueling on your body. I mean, it might be easy for us to say because, they only play one game, but to get used to it, get used to the jet lag and stuff like that, even in business class, it can still suck big time. So, yeah, it sucks there, but at the same time, it's always good to see expansion from the NFL to hopefully international countries. Some other things to talk about. What else to talk about? For the 49ers. Raheem Morris, I haven't heard anything from him or the 49ers yet. Hopefully they introduce him really soon because I've seen a lot of coaching staffs like Robert Saleh, the Tennessee Titans. They've introduced most of their assistant coaches. The Ravens did that with Jesse Minter and his coordinators. I'm hoping to hear from Raheem Morris. That'd be pretty cool right there. Him to catch up with Kyle Shanahan and they get to work full time together. It's a good and bad thing because they're buddies and they know each other so well. But at the same time, when push comes to shove, when you have a bad season, or a few bad seasons, if that ever happens, then Kyle or Raheem or both are going to have to take the blow and get fired, which is going to suck right there. But, to have both people know each other so well, Kyle really good at the offense, Raheem Morris really good at the defense. I think good things can happen. I know some people are concerned about Raheem's defense for not being so dominant as a defensive coordinator. They've never been a really dominant team on defense under his leadership in any of his defensive coordinator jobs and even his head coaching stints in Tampa and Atlanta. But they do make plays, and I think that's something that Kyle Shanahan really wanted so badly, was a coordinator that can just create plays and that can make opportunities for the offense to play more football. because, we've been lacking in the turnover department for the past few years, even with Robert Saleh. I know there's a lot of injuries, but still, it has not happened that often with the 49ers, and we're hoping that Raheem can get some sacks and get some turnovers, make some plays, create some plays, script write some good plays for the players, and I think that's going to be a good thing for 2026. So yeah, excited for that, big time. Some other things, a lot of free agents coming up. Kendrick Bourne was the biggest fish in the pond for us. Juwan Jennings, hopefully he can come back to the 49ers. I don't know, I feel like the 49ers are really scared to sign wide receivers after the whole Brandon Ayuk debacle, stuff like that. But I think Jennings is a little bit different story. He's played his heart out. He's played his butt off pretty much his whole career with the 49ers. And, Brandon has had complaints even before during his rookie years, his first rookie contract. But Jennings, no complaints at all. I mean, is he going to pay the highest paid receiver? No, but there is indication that he might leave to go somewhere else, which I don't blame him at all if he's going for the money, because you got to get a big payday, and he hasn't had a big that exorbitant payday yet because he was a late round draft pick. He wasn't a first round pick where he can just get a lot of money heads up early on. But I wish him the best of luck. I hope he stays with the 49ers, but if not, then I hope the best of luck to him wherever he goes. Some other people to talk about, Deebo Samuel, he could come back to the 49ers. I don't know if you guys want him back, but, he is a little bit beat up in his whole career. It'd be cool to see him back in red and gold, scarlet and gold, but at the same time, I don't know, has that ship sailed for the 49ers and company? I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but if they sign him, then that means they believe in him. If they don't, then they still think that he's hurt, and he'll never be the Deebo Samuel from 2021. Another big one, Eddie Pinheiro. I believe the 49ers are going to work out with Pinheiro. They do not want another debacle with Jake Moody drafting somebody really high as a kicker, or any kickers in general, and having a really shaky first 2-3 years, and then that can cost the 49ers some games during the year. Eddie was very reliable. I believe he only missed like 1 or 2 field goals out of his whole time in San Francisco, so they'd be a fool to let Eddie walk and go somewhere else. But his services are definitely needed, and he's earned the opportunity to be with the 49ers for hopefully a few more years. I'll definitely take that any day of the week. And learning from the Robbie Gould mistake, cutting him and signing Jake Moody or drafting Jake Moody, that's something that the 49ers are probably learning on with this whole contract thing with Eddie. So I believe he will be back with the 49ers, and be very surprising if he doesn't come back. So yeah, a lot of excitement for the 49ers in 2026. We're hoping that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan can knock it out of the park. People have been complaining about their draft picks and stuff like that. I thought they've done a decent job. I just feel like they have not addressed the offensive line issues. With Trent Williams getting older, he is coming back for another year. Yes, I'm very surprised. I thought he was going to retire in this offseason, but he is going to be returning to the 49ers. He said he has a few more years left, which is honestly really surprising. I mean, he's a big dude. He's in his mid to starting to get creeping up in his late 30s in a year or two, and he still wants to play. I'll give him a lot of credit right there, a lot of respect for that. But at the same time, you got to find his successor and address other positions in the offensive line. So hopefully that they are doing that big time, because we got to have a good running game. How Kyle Shanahan is with his zone blocking, running plays, misdirection, stuff like that. You got to have a good offensive line, and they've had a very hit and miss offensive line for the past few years, and I'm hoping John Lynch really hits home with that. And you see with Seattle's way of winning the Super Bowl with the offense and defensive line playing really good football. That's the thing that he has to be looking forward to, hopefully in this offseason, and doing good things with it. And also, there's been rumors about John Lynch getting promoted to president of football operations and hiring another GM full-time. I don't know. I don't know how they feel about that, honestly. Some people think that they're going to fire John Lynch. I don't think so. I think he's done a really good job. In my opinion, for the most part, I'd say like 85% of the time he's done a good job with the 49ers and the way the team is constructed. And, we're always playoff contenders every year. And Kyle Shanahan, for the most part, has done a good job coaching this team for what he's got. But at the same time, offensive line, definitely offensive line. That is the big issue for the 49ers. And a true number one receiver. As much as I love Ricky, he has the potential to be the number one receiver, but just always hurt, always injured. It'd be nice to get somebody like a Jefferson or something like that. Or, a big free agent or potential trade for Max Crosby, both of the defensive line, just stuff like that. You have to make big splashes once in a while, not every time, but once in a while. You just got to have the big fish in the free agency pond. And the 49ers, they don't have the most cap money, but they don't have the least amount of cap money, so they could probably make something that work. But at the same time, I don't know. We'll see what the moves that they do in the next month or two. But I believe the 49ers are going to do something decent. I wouldn't say amazing, but just enough where like they can keep the ship going and hopefully address the offensive line. If they don't do that, then I'm really worried about the 2026 season if it comes to that, because I don't want Brock Purdy to get beat up all the time and to have it literally no time to throw the ball, Mac Jones included, barely do anything. You have to face good defenses like Seattle twice a year, the Rams, the Texans. They don't have to face them this year, but they did earlier this year, and it was not a good time because their defense is amazing, Super Bowl caliber defense, and we did not have a good time against D'Amico Ryans and company. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the 49ers in 2026 offseason programs. Are you guys excited for it? What do they have to address in this year's offseason? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this, listening to this, and I hope to catch you guys up this week when I talk more about the 49ers. Bye, guys. Love you guys as always. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Go Niners all day.